watching The Alchemy Kitchen, and today I'm going to be going over some of the top myths about cast iron. There's a lot of myths about cast iron. You're going to hear quite a few of them. But I'm going to go over the top 5 that I see come up all the time. Even some of them I fell for. So let's get started. Number 5. You're going to get iron in your food, in your diet, by using cast iron. Unless you don't season your pan and cook in it unseasoned, which nobody does. That's false. Once you season it, it's polymerized, and that makes a barrier between your food and the cast iron. It's a shield. You're not getting iron in your food from cooking with cast iron. Sorry. Number 4, it's indestructible. It's better to say virtually indestructible. It can be destroyed. It's like something hard like glass. It's a very hard material, but it can crack. If you drop it, it can break. It can warp. You can fuck up your cast iron, bottom line. Number 3, it's non-stick. Well, again, virtually non-stick if it's seasoned well and you use it right. But if you try to cook eggs on that and it's searing hot, it's gonna stick. That's the biggest complaint I usually see is people complaining their eggs stick on their cast iron. Is it that do I have to re-season it, etc.? It's probably that you've just got that temperature way too hot. Cook low for eggs, and if it's seasoned well, you're not going to have it stick. Put some oil, put some butter in there, of course. And now this one I hear a lot. Can you use cast iron on a glass top stove? A lot of people think you can't for some reason, but that's all I've ever used almost, except for outdoors on barbecues or fires. There's no problem using a glass stove. The only problem you might have is if you have some cast iron with the heat ring, and that's like that, raised beveled ring that's really designed to fit on one of like a burner. So then it's not making contact with the surface, and it's not going to work. Now another thing with a glass cooktop is you want to use the right size burner. If I have a big pan, I'm going to use my big burner, because cast iron does not conduct heat very well. It holds heat very well, but it's going to take a long time to absorb heat. And if you put like a pan like this on a burner a quarter of its size, it's going to just get hot in that middle. The outsides are not going to be as hot. Some people crank up the heat too much, and they'll kind of ruin their pan that way. They burn in the middle, and it screws up the pan. You don't want to drop it on the glass stove, and some people say don't slide it around. You're going to scratch up your glass stove. I've never had a problem with that. And finally, number 1, and this is the one I fell for. You can't use dish soap on your cast iron. It's going to tear off the seasoning. That's completely false. And I mean, I think in one of my first videos I mentioned that you shouldn't never use dish soap. So I fell for that too. No one's called me out on that yet because I don't have so many viewers. So if someone does, I did it first. Anyways, there's nothing wrong with dish soap at all. Like old dish soap or soap had lye in it, which I guess would strip away the cast iron. I'm sorry, the seasoning. But no, there's all these methods people say, like, put salt in a potato, and it's not necessary. Frequently, I use one of these scrub brushes with soap in it, and I almost always use that to clean my cast iron. If I cook something in it that's not greasy or, it doesn't make a big mess, I can just run it under water and wipe it clean. But you're not going to hurt your seasoning with soap. It's just not possible. So yeah, those are the top 5 I hear all the time. There's tons of them. So yeah, if you can think of some that you hear a lot that I didn't cover, put them in the comments below. It's always kind of fun to hear these. And it's good to learn from, because, I mean, even the soap thing, you're making it a lot harder to clean up if you don't use soap. There's really no reason why you can't. It's harmless. And, I mean, even using an abrasive sponge or something, I do that as well. I never have a problem. Some people get, like, really concerned if their seasoning is not pristine, so it's not, like, perfectly black everywhere. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but you'll see some parts of mine, or it's not uniform black. There's nothing wrong with that. It still works fine. You don't have to strip it and re-season it or anything. Just keep cooking on it. It'll be fine. If you have issues with it flaking, I use linseed oil, and a lot of people say it does that. It did a little bit, but it's nothing like major. It's not flaking into my food. Some people will complain about that. They're getting these black flakes into their food, and it could be. I mean, it could be something wrong with your seasoning, but a lot of times I think sometimes people just didn't clean it very good, so there's some burnt on black crap from their previous meal that when they heated it up, it got onto their food. Back to the fifth one, the first one I started with, the iron in your food. That's another thing I wanted to bring up, is a lot of people say you can't use acidic food in your cast iron, like tomato sauce, something like that, which there's mixed opinions on that. However, a lot of people do it and never have a problem with it cooking chili or tomato sauce. It's not going to be a problem. I just wouldn't recommend leaving it in the pan. After you cook it, put it in another container, and you're not going to have any problem with it. Again, make sure, I wouldn't do it on a freshly seasoned new pan, but if it's seasoned and used enough, it should be no problem. That's it. Thanks for watching.